Well, hello, hello, hello. Happy Wednesday night. Do you know what day it is? I do. Happy hump day, guys. This is Delco After Dark. You've got Frankie Biscuits, Carl the Kid Park, and Carl loves his effects board tonight. Hey, Carl.
Hey, how's it going?
Doing awesome, man. Love it. Keep it coming.
It's goofiness. Well, we're getting ready for 4th of July.
Yeah, man. Dog days of summer are here.
Yeah, maybe we'll be able to go outside and see some fireworks. Are you a big fireworks guy?
I like the Clifton Heights fireworks, man. That's like my youth there.
I bet you. Go ahead, sorry.
No, you over on that field in Clifton Heights.
Yep, I was going to say, yeah, I remember being. I was there in, Phil, I think the last time I was there was 90. I sat like on a blanket with my guitar and
that's awesome.
And serenaded some lovely young woman I was probably chasing after at the time, and but that was like 30 years ago.
Oh wow.
But I remember the Clifton fireworks. There used to be ones at Glen Providence Park as well.
Really?
Oh yeah. Although in retrospect, I don't know how they did it. There's a lot of like overhang there, so you think that it would light stuff on fire.
I like it when they have music in that park over on the little patio on the right.
Yeah, I've always wondered if there's electric over there. If we could like just go over there and plug in or something.
Even just bring a generator and run a cable, you know.
I have a generic. I do have a I forget how many cc generator, but that sucker will last for a long time. But it ain't light.
Dad Fest 2020. Glen Providence Park. Little pop up.
I am literally friends with the mayor. You know, he got into an accident before any of this started in early February. He got into an accident with a tractor trailer up in New York City. This is Bob McMahon. And he's a regular patron. He supports us at the media. So his car was crushed. The fireman had to cut him out of the car.
Wow.
So he wasn't able to drive. Not so much because he physically couldn't, although he had a lot of bruises and shit, but he was just fuck this. I don't want to drive. And I was like, I'll drive you around. I'll be like, driving Miss Daisy. I'll be like, where you want to go, Miss Daisy? And I'd literally say that to him. And we'd do like, get his mail and his cupcakes. He's a big cupcake guy. Hope I'm not giving that away, Bob. And but no, I'd be like, I can call him, Mayor. I'd be like, hey, can we have the thing down at do Dad Fest? Like let's say like the middle of July or something down in Glen Providence, and he'll be like, no. I mean, he might say yes. That would be fun. People might enjoy it.
It'd be cool to have a little outdoor music. I don't know. I'm exploring some stuff. I've been talking to some people, some things popping up on the radar here and there. So more to come at another segment, I guess, on that. But just tickling the ivories a little bit. Just a little bit.
I just got a message from Mike. Did you see it? He's like,
nah.
He's like. He's like he lost track of time.
He doesn't know what day it is. He's like me.
He's like
hump day, yeah.
Well, the only reason I know it's Wednesday is because I had my John Mayer set that kind of went a little earlier. So
why'd it go, man? Why'd it go? Man,
the sound was just I set it up real nice. Then I moved everything around and hoped for the best. And I had the vocal mic a little bit too close.
It's amazing, man. You'll do one set. I mean, I just mean all of us. I mean, we'll all do one set like flawless or damn. It's just like, oh, this is so perfect. And then the next one is, this is just shit. And there's no telling.
The camera angle was good. The camera was nice. Sound, man.
The worst ones is when everything sounds right and you play it like this. It's like, da 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 da. I sound great. This is awesome. Woohoo! And then you go back and you're like, I wasn't even.
In the frame.
They got a good shot of my nuts. What the fuck?
Oh man. Yeah, you get one or the other. When everything, like I said, it's like doing 6 things at once. It's like doing this with like 6 more appendages, and then like once you get everything like humming really nice, it's like amazing. Like you're just on it's like a runner's high almost.
Oh, Jim said he enjoyed that set, and so did Lisa.
Oh, thank you guys. Yeah, they were watching. I was it was the sound just, it wasn't my best sound. I got to put my best foot forward, and that wasn't it.
What's Mark saying? He said, "Well, you were great, Frank. Called him a douchebag twice." What the fuck?
Well, yeah, I don't like John Mayer anymore because he's a douchebag, man. This guy's a douchebag. He's like,
Well,
his ego got to him, man. It was like he had a huge ego. And, if he would have stayed humble, I think his music could have been better. Maybe not. Maybe he had to have that huge ego to have all those hardships and, whatever. I don't know what the hell.
Why you bully me?
I don't know a lot about what happened. He just went, did he just have a huge chip on his shoulder or something?
Yeah, I mean, like I just remember like dating relationships being all over Access Hollywood. And that's just like not my speed. I'm like more of a quiet, type. I don't like air my dirty laundry, so. But I guess that's just what happened. It was in the paparazzi follow you, so can't avoid it.
I'm sorry. I'm reading Mike. He's like, "Oh shit." I'm like, "Okay, that's great. Well, you can join us."
Mike will be here for the second segment.
But yeah,
Stay tuned.
Hey, oh, dude, we should make him our guest. You know what? We have a special guest star tonight. Somebody you might know. He's not here now, but he'll be here after the break, maybe. But are you doing anything special for 4th of July cookout?
Not really. I mean, I was entertaining maybe going out to King of Prussia to a little farmers market.
Yeah, something's happening there that day. Something in the AM. I can't remember. There's something happening. I can't remember.
Put my mask on for it probably if I do it.
Dude, well, it's the law. I heard that Pennsylvania, if you're outside, you're wearing a mask.
Public mask.
Yeah. So what are people doing in the in like restaurants and stuff? I mean, I
gotta wear a mask unless you're sitting at a table. I think I went to Casey's in Ridley Park and I sat down outside. My buddy works there as a bartender. And as long as you're at your table, you don't have to wear a mask. But if you're inside walking around or, outside, I guess, in public area and you're within 6 feet of somebody, you got to wear them. You got to wear it. Yeah, my mom makes them for the Chester County Hospital. So I get hooked up. I wrote some of my mom. Shout out to Lorraine. Hi, Mom.
Aw. It was Jill and I used to always watch I don't know if she still tunes in. Maybe she does. But Jill and I would always watch your early sets back in like April and mid-May, and your mom was, you sound great, sweetie, and it was just the cutest.
Nobody
thing.
else would comment because it was just the Lorraine show at that point.
It was like stacks of, you sound great, love this song, this is my favorite, keep going, sweetie.
And then she would come at me afterwards and like tell me how good it was. I'm like, what's wrong? Like, has she been inside for too long? Yeah, that's it. That's definitely what it is.
She's just a proud mom.
Love my mom. Yeah.
Oh, and you say John Paul's getting married.
Yeah, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah, some fancy ass bougie venue in Malvern. Yeah, his fiance is a doctor, or she's actually at UPenn to be a doctor. And then James married a DVM, a veterinary doctor. So, both my younger brothers making me look really bad, but whatever. I'm solo dolo over here.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. And you're still in Drexel Hill? Drexel Hill, that's Drexel Hill, right? It's not
Drexel Chill. Yeah, I'm by State in Vermont, so I'm like right down the street from the old Cuddies, which is now Hannaran's and the Trophy.
And J.D. McGillicuddy. It used to be J.D. McGillicuddy's. Like
now it's Hannaran's. Yeah, it got sold. It changed names.
Well, years ago, it used to be a movie theater.
The Waverly.
It used to be the Waverly. Long time ago, they would put movies on screens for just a single screen, just one, and you'd go and you'd pay. You'd pay money, and that was the first R-rated movie I ever saw. It was about a club in the AM. It was the Breakfast Club. It is. That was the first R movie I ever saw. That was my senior moment. You can see that up in the corner.
What year, Carl? I have to ask what year.
1986. It was.
Okay, I think the year I was born.
I think it was. First of all, fuck you. That was. But yeah, it was. I think January 1986. I had a white members only jacket.
Nice.
And more than likely, parachute pants. And I was very proud of them.
Wow. I just had this mental image. Wow.
It's absolute. Oh my God. I was like, parachute pants. I got to get some parachute pants. Everybody's wearing them. I have to do everything. And I more than likely had a magnificent mullet, business in the front and party in the rear. And that party went all the way down in like 5 strands down my back. It was amazing times. The 80s were fun, man. They were not horrible, but they were, as far as clothing goes, terrible. Well, you grew up in like the 90s, right? I mean, was it all the grunge stuff? You were all wearing like flannel shirts and,
Yeah, I was 8 in 1994, but everybody was listening to Nirvana and,
Well, so your time period was more like the early aughts, like 2002, 2000, like what was...
02 was like when I was 16.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like, when I first got my, a year after I bought my Martin guitar and started becoming like a songwriter, And actually, I wrote songs in 2002. Yeah.
Because the thing that Eddie always says about when he was growing up, because Eddie's not too much younger than you. Eddie's, I think, 25 now. Is that he didn't think that they really had a style. It's like the 60s are very specific, and the 70s with the bell bottoms. But the
Jinko jeans with the really big, wide legs.
Yeah.
That was like you had to get your mom to go to Boscov's and buy a pair of those things. They were like $100. They were in 1998 or 9. That's a lot of money back then. He's still today for a pair of jeans. I wouldn't pay $100 for a pair of jeans.
No,
I got a Marshalls and TJ Maxx, man.
No, you can. That's 1/6 of your way to a fairly decent guitar. Why would you possibly buy clothing with something you could buy musical instruments with?
Exactly. Yeah, you're reading my mind. So,
but I don't know. It was good times. No, yeah, the Waverly I saw. Not only was it my first R movie, it was my first like illegal R movie. I think I was 16.
Ooh.
I was like, but I can't go in here. I'm only 16. And she's like, no, we're going. I was like, okay.
Now my thing was Granite Run Mall, and I got into a couple R movies before I should have.
Yeah, what was that? What was it? What was an R movie you saw before you should have?
I don't even remember. I was going to so many movies when I was a little kid for whatever reason. There's nothing better to do. I couldn't tell you. I probably had the stub from it somewhere, like stashed away.
Man, well, let me see if I'm trying to think. I can't remember all the movies I saw at the Granite Run Mall. I remember before there was a theater at the Granite Run Mall, so that'd be about. I think they built it in '85. So before that, there was just I don't even know what the hell was there. Kitty City I think was across the street, and then it became
a quarry.
It was a quarry. When I was really little, dude, we can do a whole show on Granite Run, just that place, just Granite Run Mall. When I was really little, it was a quarry. It was I forget the name of the run. You actually, when you drive down Route 1, it says blah blah blah, and you drive over the run that's still there, but it's just been contained into like this culvert or whatever that goes underneath. But that was 73 maybe, and then the mall came in, and the mall was banging. I mean, the mall was the place to be for years. Yep.
Yeah, that was all built on like William Penn's territory. That's why they call it Penn Crest, because it's the crest and it's Penn's territory. So that was pretty cool. I love that area. I grew up down the street in Middletown. Right outside of Media. Right, the R3 Elwyn R3 train used to run behind my house off of Indian Lane. But yeah, I went to Indian Lane. I was like, we were talking about that one time. Yeah. Yeah, I was the first elementary class, first grade class there.
I think we talked about that because my brother was one of the last ones that went through there. Because when I was growing up,
junior high.
When I was growing up, there was nothing there because the baby boomers had come and then flattened off, and then there was nothing left. You're in frozen mode.
Oh man, I think low power mode, not good.
Low power,
not good.
Plug that thing in.
It's on a Surface charger. I don't think it's getting enough. I think I got to actually plug it in. So I think Break will do that.
That would be great.
Yeah, this iPhone's it's not staying as charged as it used to. I got to get a new phone.
Well, you and I we're getting major upgrades by the end of the week. You're getting something tomorrow for your phone. I forget what it is. It's
I'm getting a couple little things. I'm getting the Wi-Fi extender so I can hopefully do an outside patio concert, and then we're getting the new tripod with some lighting built in. So My camera angle was fine tonight. It was my audio, which is normally on. It was not so on. So.
Well, you were telling me how at one point your guitar just disappeared, and I ran into that problem early on when I started doing this. When I would use USB plugins, I'd be singing and playing, and the guitar just flanges in and out and in and out, and then all of a sudden and you're playing. You're just there's sound happening. Just it's not coming. It's like canceling itself out or something, and all you get is the voice. I
prefer using the 57 Shure mic as opposed to plugging it in. Like I have a Fishman pickup, but it sounds so gamey. I can't. It's a natural pickup, so there's no controls on the pickup. I would have to cut it on the board, and when I cut it, it just gets so thin and mic'd. I think it sounds the best. Unfortunately, it's an acoustic guitar.
I don't know. Sometimes I'll mic it twice. I'll do a parallel input with a 57 or even a 58, like right in front of the sound hole, and then I'll still have the pickup,
condenser.
The pickup on the backside, and I'll put them both in, and I will just like decide at the end game how much of this. Usually I do like 30, 70. Sometimes I'll pan them. Sometimes because you get that little freshness from the acoustic sound, and then you get that absolute perfect when possible, especially with a Martin. There's a rule. There's a rule with Martins and Taylors. You play one of them and you record the other one. I can't remember if you play a Taylor and record a Martin, or if you record a Martin and play a Taylor, but that's apparently the rule. But you record and play whatever you have. If you're lucky enough to have a Taylor and a Martin. I've never had a Taylor. I only just got a Martin maybe 10 years ago, but I wanted one my whole life. It was one of those, before I croak, I'm a big Ovation guy, but before I croak, I want a Martin. Now my Martin does not have a bear claw in it. How did yours get a bear claw?
I don't know, man. That's what they sent me. That was the third guitar of the 3 shipments that they sent me from music123.com. But yeah, I just got, I either got lucky or it was like a B stock, or, I was just fortunate that they've replaced 2 guitars and they gave me a third one. So
what was wrong? What was wrong with the other 2?
Yeah, I got the first one in the mail. It was searched by the FBI. It had a crack down the middle of it. Yeah. So I had to send that first one back. The second one, John DiDonato, I think it's John DiDonato, or Mike DiDonato. I'm sorry, Mike DiDonato, one of the coffee club hosts from back in the day. He fell on it, and then I didn't see the crack until I got home, and I opened up the case. I was like, oh crap, another one. But since it was the same exact issue, I was able to get them to replace that one, even though it really was kind of my fault. And
go ahead.
And then I got the third one. Third one's got the bear claw on it. I've been lucky. Third one's a charm. 3 times a charm, my friends.
So do you have that guitar within striking distance of you right now? Because I don't think can you grab it? Because I don't think people realize when they're watching you play that. Look at this, people. So that's a guitar, but if you look, it's got, see that there that looks like bring it up. Song. Yeah, you can see yourself. So there it is. So it kind of looks like a defect, but what it is, like Frank was saying, is that was part of the wood that the bear was sharpening his claws on the tree. How cool is that?
And some of these guitars will have bear claws like all over them. Like the bears will just be like clawing at this, and that's like one piece that they shave off, and then that becomes the top of the guitar, and that one's like $100,000 at that point.
Wow. I don't think I paid that for mine. I think I got a Korean one that came through Mexico and then through Alabama or something. I did not pay. I think I paid like $900 for mine. My brother has I forget what it is. It's a shallow body like mine, but his is worth about I think $2,200. I don't know if you caught any in Ned, but he's got that tuner thing not a tuner. It's an effects thing that goes inside the acoustic guitar. So it's
Is it the Aura?
I'll look it up on when we go to break, but it attaches via magnets to the back of the guitar and then inside.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And it creates either reverb or delay and various sorts of ambience and stuff like that. And it's you don't plug it into anything.
Yeah, it comes out the sound hole. Yeah, at that point it's crazy.
Ridiculous, and it works. It 100% works, and you're just like this shouldn't be working, but
It's wizardry. If people just see you playing that and they don't know it's there, and they're like on some like drugs or something, or maybe a little bit drunk, they're going to freak out. They're going to be like, "What the hell is going on?"
Well, especially it's like, if you like you said, if you don't know, it's not plugged into anything, and especially delay. Then you hit a chord and it just keeps going and keeps going, and you're like, "What? How does this even working?
Where's it coming from? He's not plugged in. It's an acoustic."
You're like, nah. So, well, we're coming up on a break a little bit, so maybe
Michael will join us.
Oh.
I saw some messages. I didn't like see them. I just kind of the blip.
Oh yeah, I see. Okay. We'll talk about we'll talk about it after break.
All
We'll
right.
talk about it after break. So let's take a little break, and we'll be back in a couple minutes.
Welcome back. Happy Wednesday night. Humpy hump.
Somebody kill me!
Okay.
We've got the Delco After Dark team. Frankie Biscuits, Carl Park, we're here. Mike Scandal, not so much. Maybe Friday.
He's having a good time.
Yeah, we got to let him have his. We got to let him do his thing. He's got to.
Well, he's got a lot of field. He's working on a ton of field pieces for us, aren't you, Mike? Ton of field pieces. Yeah, you're gonna be. It's gonna be cooking, and cooking with Mike, and car repair with Mike, and open heart surgery with Mike. It's gonna be amazing.
Nice.
It's gonna be like.
And goodbye to anyone standing in John Cena's way when he takes on 6 men in a steel cage shoots and ladders match at WWE Super Slam.
Or something like that.
That was a long clip.
That's a really long one, I know.
Oh man, yeah. But yeah, did you catch anybody? Were you catching any of the performances today on Delco Quarantine?
I saw you, and I saw a little bit of Mark. I was actually very productive today for a change. I was able to walk, which was awesome. I love walking. I tell you what, walking is underrated because when you can't walk, one of the only things you want to do is walk.
That's great, man.
It's kind of like, in a quarantine, you don't normally, it's like, maybe I'll go outside today, maybe I won't. And then you can't go outside. And then you really want to go outside.
So how many miles are you going to ride on your bike tomorrow?
But you can't. I don't know. What we actually did was we dropped off 3 bikes today. So Eddie and I went on Eddie fixes bikes. I told you that. So we get bikes in, we buy them off the marketplace. He does his point inspection, and then we send them back out. And so we dropped off 2 bikes in Maryland, picked up 2 bikes, and then dropped another one off in Philadelphia. So we were just busy all day in the truck, picking up and dropping off bikes. And I found, holy God, it's killing me. I found 3 magnificent Trek Marlin bicycles over in at a pawn shop. We also shop for them too in Maryland on Route 40. They are in immaculate shape. They're beautiful, and I can get them for almost nothing, but I don't need them. And the people that buy the bikes from us don't really want to. They're like, you know what? I think I do want a bike. And I'm like, okay, well, it all depends on what you're willing to spend, And they're like, well, I think about 150. I'm like, okay, well, then we're going to go for this. But the ones that I found were immaculate, beautiful bikes. But even at the least I could charge for them was like 400. And there's nobody that I know that really wants them. So I'd end up just buying them and putting them in my own collection. And I don't need 3 more bikes.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a little $80 bike online. It's like a Chinese something or other, but it's like a slightly smaller frame because I'm only like 5'8", So
it's probably a 26, yeah.
Yeah, and it's Shimano, all the gear set, so it's a decent little, I ride around Arata Mink, with it. It's it's red. It's got some nice wheels that's, they when they spin, they look cool. I don't know. I just ride the bike just to get a little exercise and feel the wind in my hair,
Yeah. Not everyone needs a super duper bike, but man, it's killing. Oh man, it's killing me. They're sitting down there right now. They are absolutely brand new, spectacular. I'd put pictures
of the Treks. Yeah, I remember I had a Trek bike growing up.
Nice.
When my dad worked at the Volkswagen dealership in Springfield, and they used to sell the Jetta Trek, and it used to come with a bicycle. He would offer like the old people $100 for the bike because he knew they weren't going to ride it. So that's how I got my Trek bike when I was a little kid.
Wow, I didn't know he did that.
Oh yeah. My dad had the car dealership on Baltimore Pike across from the Bazaar for 30 years with his grandfather, and they were car salesmen. They were Cadillac salesmen in the 60s and 70s, and then they went into business for themselves. Actually, the first dealership was on McDade, across from Wawa number 1, McDade and Swarthmore, and it was called Scotty Motors because it was an Irish neighborhood, and we were Degos, and you gotta please the mix. It's called Scotty Motors, but they sold 10,000 cars. And my dad, he was an acumen of customer service. He always used to say, "The Better Business Bureau doesn't know my name." A lot of people sold used cars, and it was like that scene in Matilda where they sprinkle sand in the oil, which is not a thing, by the way. But but no, I mean, my other passion in life is cars. So if you see how good I am with music, that's about how good I am with cars, because at age 3, I picked up a violin. At age 3, my dad put my playpen in the showroom at Scotty Motors. So, I I was employed. I was a professional musician when I was 5. I got my first paid gig when I was 5 at Central Park, which turned into the Red Iron Pub. I played my brother's christening. So
really?
on violin, yeah.
Cool.
So that was, I've been a professional musician for, almost 30 years.
I did not know that you played violin.
I took Suzuki method. Lorraine hooked it up. I had a little quarter size Suzuki rental from just a violin rental from Zaff's Music.
Can you still play?
I'm sure I can play anything with strings, man. I play piano. I'll figure it out. Like I can pick up a ukulele and figure it out. Like I don't play it every day, but yeah, I mean, I used to play. I got up to the second book in Suzuki, which really isn't that far, but I do every song like by memory because I didn't read music, which that's why it took me forever to learn the songs. I had to play it for me, and then I'll play it back to them.
All right. So if you had a violin sometime next week, you could play us a song.
Yeah, I could at least give you Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
Oh, but you don't still have a violin anywhere around, do you? Is there one at home?
Nah. I have just guitars right now. I want to get a little electric keyboard eventually when I start to, get my music studio together. But other priorities.
Well, that's big. Go ahead.
But you're a pianist, right? Your main instrument is piano, if I'm not mistaken.
Nah. I don't really have a main instrument. I'm like that jack of all trades guy. Like I'm just dangerous.
Was it your first?
Yeah, it was. It was
okay.
My first. Yeah,
that's why I call it the main. Yeah,
it was my first. There was a piano at my grandmother's house when I was a little kid, and I would go there and just bang the hell out of it for hours, and they wouldn't get too pissed at me for it. And actually, there was an old organ. Not like a pump organ, but I forget what kind it was. It was upstairs. My grandmother's house was on, you might know it, or knew it, let's say. It was on the corner of Valley View and Sandy Bank Road. Like if you're heading down to the Providence Animal Shelter.
By the SPCA, yeah.
Yep. Up at the very, that's a killer hill if you're on a bike or something.
Oh, yeah.
And you get to the top of it, and now it's the old folks' home. That was my grandmother's property. It was an orchard and all this shit.
That's Rose Tree Media. Yeah,
absolutely. But she lived, I think it was 428 Sandy Bank, and there's no house there now. They squished it, but it was a terribly, terribly haunted house. Ridiculously. Wow. It was, and it had this big upstairs. It had this big long hallway. It had 2 sets of staircases on either side. It had one come in through the kitchen and a second staircase, the main staircase, and it had a secret passage under the one staircase. Not even shitting. But it was terribly haunted, and no one told me this when I was like 10 or 12 or not. I forget how old I was, but I went upstairs and went down this long-ass hallway and went into the room. Like every haunted house, I don't know if you believe in this shit. I don't, but what the hell. Every house has the room, and I went into the room, and they had an organ there, and I like to play on the organ. And I was in there. And I'm playing on the organ, and the sun's behind me. So the sun is shining down, so I can see the shadow of myself and the sun coming through the window. And I hit one chord. I don't know what chord I fucking hit. And then I hit the chord, and a shadow of a man with a hat comes over my shoulder. So I'm looking down, and I can see his shadow behind me. And I'm like 10 years old. I mean, I would shit myself now. And I'm just like, doo-doo-doo. So I start screaming. I start going, Because meanwhile, my mother is downstairs with my grandmother. I'm like, Mom. And I get louder and louder. I'm not going to do it here, but I get continuously louder until I'm screaming it as loud as a 10-year-old can possibly scream. And nobody comes to save me. So at one point, I have to make the decision that, and it's still there. It's still standing over my shoulder, hat and everything. Swear to God. And I just well, nobody's coming to save me. I got to turn around. That's fucked up, dude. So I was like, and I turned around and nothing was there. And then I fucking bolted. I bolted down the hall, down the steps, and I went, and I'm like crying and screaming, like, why didn't you save me? Because I'm, you know me, I'm a loud person. Didn't hear it. None of them heard a thing. Ooh,
that is really freaky.
Oh, my brother Ned. And you know Ned.
Yeah.
He's half crazy. He's all crazy, but I'm like a stamped clone of Ned. So he was there in the house by himself one day.
You're the younger version of Ned.
Totally. It's weird seeing yourself 10 years in the future. But he caught it one day. He was in the house by himself, or there was just one, his wife was downstairs or out front ready to go. And he caught it one day. He was down the hall, he was taking a leak, and he heard it in the room. He heard something moving furniture around in that room. And this is in the middle of the day. You're a little bit braver in the middle of the day, I guess. Oof. So he's like, oh, I got you now. Because he's nuts. He's nuts. So he goes... So he gets done in the bathroom, and he comes down the hall, and he puts his hand on the doorknob to, once more, the room. And the story he tells, I got to get him on someday. The story he tells is he heard a sound that was so inhuman, like nothing he'd ever heard in his life before, that he was magically teleported down the hall, down the steps, and out in front of the house. He ran faster than you can possibly imagine to get the fuck out of that house.
Man, there's a lot of haunted places in and around this area. There's some groups on Facebook that I follow that talk about, some of these. I wish we knew about it. I would have brought them up. Maybe we'll talk about some haunted Delco establishments.
Oh yeah, there's one right down the street from your old place. It's the Strawberry Mansion. I mean, it's the one. It's the Straw Bridges, like right down from.
Yeah,
it's off of Indian Lane. Yeah,
Strawbridge and Clothier. Yeah, that's right by the bridge that
to nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah, that bridge was that was open when when we moved to that house, and then when it shut down because they decided that it wasn't fit for cars to drive over anymore, we had to take Ridley Creek Road, and the SEPTA bus, same thing, had to take Ridley Creek Road, which is a very narrow, and there's a ravine on the other end. And when I was 9 or 10 years old, we were driving home from work, and the bus cut into our lane and literally head-on collision. We got hit by a SEPTA bus when I was a little kid. And it was freaky, man. Good thing we were in a really big, heavy Mercedes SEL, big body Mercedes, 6,000-pound tank, but we got hit by a SEPTA bus on that right there. It sucked.
Wow. That's that bridge went out, I want to say 86,
90.
87, 90? It was that late? Wow.
Yeah, because we were using it. We moved there in 89.
Yeah. Have you ever been up that road? So the one that goes by Elwyn Institute, the one if you go past the waterworks and make the left, it's blocked off now, but I was going to put a geocache up there, which are these little things you can look all over the world for. So my kids and I walked up there, and the road, since it hasn't been used for 30 years, it's just like a road that time forgot. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, my friends live in the property on Chipmunk Lane right next to it, the Schweitzers. So they live in the property right next to the bridge. But yeah, I live right down the road. That was my old neighborhood growing up,
But do you have any ghost stories? You have any decent ones?
Man, I wish I prepared. I wish we were talking about. I knew we were talking about ghosts. Like I said, there's a few haunted places. I live across. When I was in media, I lived on Woodbriar Drive, and across the street was Bill Strine. The Strines used to live across the street. They owned half of media. They moved out in the early '90s to Darlington Road. They had some horses. They wanted more property. But that's a very creepy. Their old house is a very creepy old house. And if you go down Woodbriar, at the end of Woodbriar, near Indian Lane, there's another mansion that was owned by I believe the Eisner family. They owned Eisner Pontiac, Eisner, one of the GM dealerships in media. It's now like an optometrist and a parking carport thing, like a parking garage.
I don't know.
What the hell? That used to be their dealership. I mean, those two. I'm saying those two buildings that the Strines building and the Eisner's building. They're both. I mean, I was never in the Eisner's building, but I can only imagine how creepy it was inside because they're just so old. I mean, those really big old houses, just like the Strawbridge Mansion, they were the first houses in the area. People lived there in the early, I don't know, we'll say 1900s, and they were rich. They had money. They had big ass house.
There was one on There's one on Roastery Road. It's up on the Roastery Road. If you're coming from like Pencrest, let's say the Granite Run Mall, once more, you go down, and it bottoms out at Painter, and it does that little turn and comes up around. And that one on the left is always, for at least my generation, was like the haunted house.
Was that the one that caught fire?
I believe it was burnt out, and there was always talk of people were hanged in the back, and it was always creepy shit. There's a bunch of creepy shit, blah. But
wow. And those other ones that are out like in the land that they're developing now, that one house that they leveled, that was a very creepy house on Baltimore Pike across from Thomas Chevy.
I know exactly the one you're talking about. Yeah, that was there for dude. I don't think anyone. I don't remember anyone living in that house ever. I mean, someone must have.
It's got to be haunted. It's got to be.
And that's right up. Yeah,
100%.
That's right up from the Franklin.
Yep, the Mint.
The Franklin Mint. Now, does it still say the Franklin Mint in front in those big letters? Because they took them down?
Yeah.
Because I told you. How many times did I tell you?
A lot of people told me that.
To get to lean against the F in that and focus the camera so it says Frank, and then you're just leaning against the biggest version of your name. Ah, man, that would have been. I do
have pictures. You know what? I did do that, and I got to find those pictures, man. Now I got to go through a hard drive. There's some I have.
That's the back of an album. In a second, that's a back of an album.
It might have been taken with like a 1 megapixel camera, but I do have those pictures.
Back in the day, 1 whole megapixel. Why would you ever need more than that? That was a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah, 0.8 was like, I had one that was like 0.8. I was like, oh my goodness, look at this little phone with almost a megapixel.
Dude, I had a 1 gig SD card in 2005, and that shit cost me like $200. It was amazing. I could put 30 songs on it.
Yeah, you could put a nice album on there.
Yeah. And now you can carry like 1 thumb drive. I think I got a thumb drive here with like 128 gig. It's ridiculous.
It's how times have changed, how technology's gotten better, just, messing around with all this technology and music today, talking about going in copper or going in USB, how to get that good sound coming out, what Wi-Fi to use. Like if you can connect to that if you have a dual band router, you can get on that faster network, that 0.5 network, that I was trying to mess around with that today a little bit.
Well, honestly, and you and I were talking about that a little on the break, that, I mean, and this is for anybody who, is trying to record, anytime you can plug directly into a router, you're going to do better for everything. Like take it from an old gamer. Like I used to game back with, it would take me a second to find the sound, but it's like the old sort of, even dial up and stuff like that. Whenever you could actually, connect to a router yourself, you're going to get a better signal, whether it's sound or anything. You get
100% of the capability of the network instead of a partial capability, because it's hindered by the Wi-Fi, and where you are, you want to be like right now I'm on Wi-Fi, but my router is right next to my desktop, so I have no issues. But if you're, through a wall or something, that Wi-Fi doesn't like to go through the walls, especially that 5 Wi-Fi. You got to be on 2.4 if you're on a different.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, 2.4 will go through walls. The 5 will only do like maybe the same floor of your house, and that's if the doors are open in the bedrooms and stuff. It will probably go through some walls, but not as good. But it's faster. The 5 is faster. So if you can be on 5, if you can be next to that router. Actually, now that you said plugged in, I'm going to go get some cat cable and plug my desktop in and see if I can get a little bit more performance out. I got a gig of up and down. I think I got some really good internet, so I should be able to harness it with a simple Cat 5 or Cat 6 cable, right?
Oh man, back in the day, it used to be like this. You'd be like it ain't done. There you go.
Oh, you've got mail. And then you had to pay by the minute. It was like you had to buy, like you had to go to BJ's. I remember going to BJ's to get like 30 minutes on AOL,
Really? Is that how you do it?
You've got mail.
You burned through it, yeah. Oh, man, I remember my first computer, my Packard Bell 486. Used to program DOS on it. My mom was a computer programmer, taught me how to run DOS.
A 46DX too. Play Lemmings.
Yeah, Lemmings was the shit.
Dude, Doom came on 4 diskettes. They packed all that.
I like Doom, and I liked Duke Nukem.
Duke Nukem.
And Shadow Warrior.
How do I not have a Duke Nukem? How do I not have a shake it, baby? How do I not have a Duke Nukem sound effect? It's kind of amazing.
Oh man, yeah, we're really throwing it back here. Scandal's missing out.
Oh,
He
yeah.
probably this is probably before his time though. He's probably more of a Super NES. You know, you're probably Atari guy. Did you play Atari?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I had all the classic Atari games. I remember when a friend of mine came in to Springton Lake, and he's like, "Hey man, my friend, I think it might have been Chaz Terry who teaches karate over in Springfield," and he was like, "Hey man, have you found you have Adventure on the 2600?" I'm like, "Yeah, Adventure. It's like they're little dragons, but they look like ducks, and you are a cube." That is what you are, a cube, and your sword is an arrow, and that's it. And he's like, did you find the dot? And I go, what's the dot? And it was the secret dot that, and I think Ready Player One sort of makes fun of it a little bit, that you had to do other things than the game, and you could find out the creators of the game that they hid it in there. And that was the first Easter egg ever made. And it was
those were cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were a few of those in some of the games I can play. Yeah, I was more of a Sega Genesis or Super NES, and then
the Super. I would think I was 21 maybe when the Super NES came out, and I bought those things like crazy, and they were not cheap. They were like $50 a cartridge.
Yeah, man, they were. And that it wasn't that special. It was just like 8-bit or 16-bit. It wasn't that great, PlayStation was 32-bit. That was like a big deal when it's or like Sega CD or Sega Saturn that never really, that never really popped off.
Sega.
Yeah. Oh man.
No, we're up at a break. Let's take a quick nice. A quick little break, and then we'll come back and maybe do something with a number in it or something. I don't know.
Nice. Happy Wednesday, happy hump day. Well, I guess it's like Thursday morning by now. We're doing our thing over here, Delco After Dark. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Hump day, yeah.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, I think it's Thursday now. Remember, if you live in the middle of media, like around 4th Street, let's say, tomorrow is Trash Day and Recycle Day. Just helping you out because I still have to take mine out. Thank you. How is it that I create so much recycling? Do you create a lot of recycling where you are, Frank?
I have a very big can, and I can probably take it out every couple of weeks. It's not that big of a deal.
I am the opposite. I mean, now I've got my son and his girlfriend here, and mom.
That's
and
why
mom's here with us, and it's just the four of us. I produce way more recycling than I ever do trash.
Now, see, it's just me. I got this 3-bedroom house all to myself, man.
Must be nice.
Yeah, I used to have a roommate, but you kind of grow out of. Both my roommates were Ryan, and they were both like childhood friends of mine. And for the past couple of years, I've been living. This bedroom used to be, which is now my office, used to be the bedroom I used to rent out to my close friends, only close friends.
Do you still have the ultimate bachelor's dining room?
I do. My living room has a 9.5-foot Brunswick pool table, 3-piece slate. Yeah, it was one of the things my dad gave me when I moved out of my house in media. That's a fantastic gift.
I love. We had a pool table in my house as a kid. I had a pool table in the last house I was in before this, but I was not a huge pool table fan because my father and brother were so good at it that I just sucked. I couldn't play it. However, my friend George Plotz, he went to Pencrest, I think, class of 89. He had a bumper pool table. I don't know if you've ever played. It's the one that's like a hexagon, and it's got like the bumpers that look like a cross.
My mom was very into bumper pool. Not to date myself, but
it's so fun.
She's older than you, so
it's so much fun, and nobody does it.
Yeah, that was like that kind of went away. I've never seen a bumper pool table in a bar. I've seen pool tables. I run the shit out of a pool table, man. I got my 9.5-foot. I'm so good on that when I play a 5x7. And don't tell people, but like I run them, man.
Yeah,
like
you're kind of.
I'm a sleeper. People, drunk guy at Barnaby's would be like, or Duffers would be like, "Oh, you."
Or the Old State. They've got one over the Old State.
Oh yeah. I've definitely gotten drinks there for free, playing pool. So
now, what I wish media or somewhere close to media had was a really good shuffleboard table because I friggin' adore a shuffleboard. But it's kind of. I mean, McGillicuddy's used to have 4, right?
Yeah, and I think they might still have it. They had a league down there. It was a big. I mean, that was like the shuffleboard mecca of Delco. Yeah.
I wonder if we could have like a shuffleboard, a Delco After Dark shuffleboard tournament in the near future, and winner gets absolutely nothing. We'll do it right after we do the Glen Providence Park Dad Fest. Is that what you called it? That was pretty cool.
Yeah, Dad Fest. We still got to get that 800 number, 1-800 Delco Dad.
I was looking to trademark the term Delconian, but I couldn't figure out quite how to spell it because Jim said
I've used it before. DELCOION? No, DELCONIAN.
Delconian? Yeah, because I was looking it up because first of all, no one's done it, so I'm like, well, I better grab that because also it's not a terrible name for a band or something. It'd be like the Delconian Invasion. Yeah.
Well, Mark was making fun of how sweaty I was a couple nights ago on Monday night when I was playing because I didn't have the fan on, and he called me Frankie Sweatalicious, like Scandalicious. Then I was like Sweaty Spaghetti. And
Sweaty Spaghetti.
But then I looked online and there's some like little kid band that's got Sweaty Spaghetti. I'm like, damn it. I want to be Sweaty Spaghetti.
Dude, it's tough. It's tough to come up with something original. Remember Ned and I, every time we'd play at the coffee club back when you were there, we'd make up a different name for the band. And then we'd break up at the end. And we'd play our 2 songs and then we'd get pissed off at each other and we'd break up. And we're like, we're never playing together again. And then we'd go back and then we'd sign up next week. And then remember the one dude.
Oh man.
And the one dude was doing the reporting for the newspaper that week. He's like, who are you this week? I said, I think we're Frozen Leprechaun.
Dude, I gotta dig up that. I have that somewhere too. That news article. I remember that somebody wrote like a whole. It was like a whole centerfold about the open mic at Coffee Club. So it was ridiculous too. It was talking about Puppet Master and all.
Oh yeah, I have it. I might have it somewhere, but it's. I mean, we're talking.
I totally forgot about that, Carl.
Right? Yeah,
I totally forgot.
Well, I just remember him asking him. He's like, "What? And what band are you?" And I go, "Well, tonight we're Frozen Leprechaun, but last week we're All Ya All." And I think next week we're going to be Mixolydian. And he looked at me like I was crazy, which is probably the proper response.
And it was a lit night too when that guy, it was like a circus that night. I remember.
Oh, that I don't remember.
Yeah, I do remember.
Dude, sometimes you had like 20. Sometimes you had like 20 acts. It was crazy.
Camera, man. This camera. I got it.
Time for a new camera.
Hopefully my tripod solves my camera issue. Hopefully I can figure out something.
If not, we'll get you another camera, man. I think we can reach into petty cash for that. Hey, man, I've got. Well, dude, it's 12:30. Theoretically, we should be off, but I don't feel like leaving at this quite moment. Like if Mark was playing at 12:30, I'd say let's bolt. But let's hang for a couple minutes. We got some neat stuff to do. So I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10. That number would be
11.
This is top 5 with that little Satan cat that I'm trying to domesticate and failing miserably, but that's for another day. Still love the little guy, but he does not get along with my other kitty cats. Anyway, tonight's top 5 are, since we've sort of like skated the topics anyway, are the top 5 video games, any platform. Because I lean more towards PC, but I certainly have played every console and PC that can be possibly imagined since Pong. I think Mary brought up Pong a little bit ago because I played the shit out of Pong when I was a little kid. And those early ones were like Pong and Sub Hunter, where you would like sit, there'd be like, look like a sub thing that you would look through it. And and race cars that were just more than little dots. I mean, you had to use your imagination with a lot of that shit back in the day. And just pinball. I love the shit out of pinball. I would love a pinball machine. But anyway, that's me. I will, and we can go back and forth. Like, why don't you do one and then I'll do one?
Well, I mean, the one game, I'm not a big gamer, but the one game that I do play, and because I love cars so much, and it's just an awesome game right now, is, and I'm currently playing on Xbox One, is Grand Theft Auto. And I just think, I just love Grand Theft Auto. I just love, how I played it for so long, and it was like one dimensional at one point where you looked at everything from above, and now it's like a whole map, and it's like it's grown, and it's like now it's amazing. But like I used to play it and love it when it was like 24-bit or whatever the hell it was. It was. What about you? What are you playing right now?
Right now? Oh, and actually, I want to say the people in the chat, feel free, because remember, when this gets saved, like, your chat is part of the video, so please chime in with your favorite video games if you have one, and help us out. So right now I'm playing it's a classic one. It's Team Fortress 2, which is red versus blue, 16-man teams or 8-man teams fighting for flag or push the cart or other things like that. And I run a site called Team Fortress Tuesdays where we all get together and we play. I haven't done it lately because I've been busy with this, but I really enjoy doing it. It's a free game on Steam. If you have Steam, you can get Team Fortress 2 for free.
I've never tried it. Yeah,
you can play it with me. You can play it on both platforms, Apple or PC, and you can come and play it with me and some of my friends, and we're all real friendly, and it's really stupid. People blow up and they're like, oh, that guy blowed up real good. It's really fun and really stupid, and there's no, what's that called? There's trolling or you suck or none of that shit. That ruins it.
Yeah, I don't do that. Yeah, I'm not big on that either. So.
No. Okay, what you got?
Man. So I got it right in my Super NES right now. I just picked it up on eBay. One of my favorite.
Like a cartridge, like a real cartridge.
A cartridge, yeah.
Holy shit!
I was thinking about buying those little. I've read the reviews on the ones that are like all-in-one 300 games. They're not so good. So I have an old console for Super NES. I picked up Paperboy 2.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Wait. We got somebody coming in. What is this?
Whoa.
What is this? What is this?
Somebody kill
Michael, what are you doing?
It's time for Anakin. I have the high ground.
Hello, everybody.
Michael,
So, Mike,
where are you? Are you field reporting?
I am field reporting here in the heart of Delco, Clifton Heights. I think that's where I am.
Is Clifton Heights the heart of Delco? Isn't it more like the kidney, or perhaps the upper thigh? Anyway, go ahead.
the cockles of Delco.
Delco right now.
Oh, what? It's so good to see you. We were worried. We weren't sure what was happening. But
I'm not sure what.
But we're glad you phoned home. So right now we're in the middle of of that classic thing we do. That
5 it like 4, 6 or something like that.
But
Slevin.
Oh, look at this! He's in his car. I love it when he's in his car. We got to get him to do Cars by Gary Newman. Here in my car, I'm still in my car. But we're doing the our top five video games, and we're just bouncing back and forth. Do you play any video stuff?
Yeah, I'm a big N64 kind of guy. Like I
Wow.
love like Super Mario World and like Super Mario 64 and shit like that.
Oh well, that's his. Wow, this is a first. He's literally driving home, or I'm assuming you're driving home. I don't know where you're driving, but
I'm driving home. I figured it would be if you guys were still on. I was like, well, I'll join you virtually. Sorry if you can't really see me too well.
no, but you don't mess up. We can see you just fine without the light.
Yeah, you don't gotta turn the light on here.
That's I believe that's not tremendously safe. So you are fine. Yeah, we got you fine. Oh, wait. I'm trying to figure out if he's in Clifton Heights. I'm trying to figure out where he is by the
I grew up in
traffic.
Clifton Heights, so I know Clifton Heights pretty good.
So
Might not
that's
be actually Clifton Heights. It's probably like
Lansdowne,
adjacent. No, not Lansdowne. I'm not that far out.
Springfield.
Like probably closer to Springfield, honestly.
Hmm.
I'm was it Drexel Brooks Apartments?
You're right by my
okay.
house. You're at Drexel Hill, man.
Yeah, you're not. He's coming back. He's coming back this way from around the old. Remember the old pool place back in the Drexel Brook, or what? That little pool. What was it called?
Still
I
there.
forget
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, it's still there.
We should go play some pool, some socially distant pool with our masks, and you can take all my fucking money.
I wish I
Anyway,
had an outdoor pool table like Drew Carey.
That's awesome.
I only have an indoor pool table. Sorry, guys.
Well, what are you gonna do? So round robin. I think it's you again, Frank. Wait, you're this way actually. What's
Yeah.
your what's another video game? Oh, you were talking about Paperboy.
Yeah, Paperboy too.
I have that.
I just picked it up, so I got that, and yeah, I mean that's probably one of my favorite games for Super NES.
I have that for SNES.
But yeah, I had that back in the day. What's another one of mine? Shoot. There was an arcade. I'm going to go way back. There was an arcade game that my friend Steve and I used to go down to the 7-Eleven on Providence Road back in like 82, 81, 82, 83, and he had a paper route, and my allowance was shit. But he had a paper route, so he had lots of money. So he's like, "Listen, why don't we go down and play some games?" And we would go down to the 7-Eleven and play an old vector graphics game called Star Castle, which is there was a ship in the middle with a shield around it, and it was kind of like Asteroids, but you had to like blow up the ship in the middle. But we would play all sorts of stuff. There was a vector graphics Star Wars game down there that was amazing. You'd fly through the AT-AT's legs and stuff. We just loved the hell out of it. But that's mine. That's my old game. But how about you, Mike?
Graphics.
I love those vector graphics games like Asteroids and all that, which makes me really sad to say. I must, recognize this that one of my favorite bars, 1984, is closed for good. They were an arcade bar. Have you guys heard of it in Delaware, Wilmington?
No. There was an arcade bar that I didn't know about. I could went play games.
I played there a bunch of times. They're closed. It's
Oh, that's not cool.
State Road and Route 1, by the way. This is the heart of Delco right here.
Oh, you're at the Y where State Road runs into the okay, yeah. That is kind of the heart of Delco. That's like the main vein, as they say. How about you, Frank? What you got?
For video games, Donkey Kong.
Oh, and all its iterations.
Or if we're doing Sega, it would be Sonic the Hedgehog. I think that's the equivalent.
Have you seen the new Sonic movie with Jim Carrey? I hear it's pretty
No.
funny, actually. I don't know. I'm making a shot. I don't know. They had to redo the character because his teeth were all fucked up or something.
Yeah, the internet was like, no, this is terrible.
Yeah.
And they redid it.
Yeah, for one brief moment in time, the internet rose as one together and went, no, we're not going to watch this. Go back and do it again.
Yeah. For the best, you know?
What you got, Mike? What else you got?
Katamari Damacy is my favorite video game.
What? I have no idea what that is.
So it's a PlayStation and PlayStation 2 game. And I think there's editions for like the later PS game consoles too. But it's you roll things up in a ball and you get bigger and bigger.
Oh, yes, I do know that game. Yeah, my kids played it.
If you've seen any of my earlier live streams, I have it playing in the background while it's very relaxing to watch.
Is that what that is? I've often wondered what's playing in the background. It's a little like World of Goo. Is that sort of a similar kind of thing? Like it gets just bigger and bigger and bigger?
Yeah, I mean, like, you start out rolling up little tic-tacs and, like, thumbtacks and, like, soon you're rolling up skyscrapers and shit. And people are screaming, but there's this, like, really fun music playing in the background.
Oh.
Yeah, video game music is awesome sometimes.
Boy, would love to get in on that, wouldn't you? Whew.
We got some of our viewers. Melissa, she says Nintendo Need for Speed and Simpsons Hit and Run.
Oh.
Where's my burrito?
Oh, and then Ed, I got my thing in front of the thing. And then Ed says a very old PC game, Leisure Suit Larry. So,
Oh my God, Leisure Suit Larry! I remember Leisure Suit Larry. They were.
sounds pretty awesome.
Leisure Suit Larry was a little racy. You had to be over 18 to purchase that game. It was all animated. It was, like animated wieners or whatever, boobs. But it was still, are you over 18? Like, yes, sir, I am.
Animated wiener.
Well, that was back when the Granite Mall had what was it like the game? What was the game place at the bottom of like you walked out of the elevator, the glass elevator in Granite Mall, and you came right on. I think Electronics Boutique. I think that's what it was called. And
Yeah, there's an underground like arcade area.
oh no, that was on the second floor, and that was Aladdin's Castle.
Aladdin, yeah.
And we could sit back and do a whole show about Aladdin's Castle. That place.
I have
was
some coins from that place. Yeah, still.
my friend, and you know what? I'll use mine to go with one of the things that they did. My friend had a birthday party there where they rented out the whole place for like an hour or 2 hours, and they're like, all the machines were turned on. Go have fun. And for like a 13-year-old kid, you're like, dear God, I've died and gone to like arcade heaven, and everything in there was like, they were classics like Battlezone and Tempest and Defender and Pac-Man and his Miss Pac-Man. Why is not Mrs. Pac-Man? I don't know, but I mean, or
They're
cousins.
yeah,
Okay.
cousins now.
But one of the games they had in there was a flying version of Battlezone, vector graphics entirely, called Red Baron. So it was basically Battlezone, but in the sky, Red Baron. And my love of flight simulators absolutely came from that. Not long after that, I was just like, I have to own a flight simulator, and I just like went crazy for them. So that's mine, Red Baron from 1983, or same time period, Dragon's Lair. Dragon's Lair, phenomenal.
Can I go for one more?
What? Yeah, I don't know if we've done 5.
I think I'm on my 5th one now. Cruisin' World, when you played it at the arcade.
I remember
and you could
that.
hit the pedal 3 times and the car would lift up in the front. Oh man, I played L94. Nothing beats a car game for me.
Yeah.
These doing this thing where they make a left on red here at Route 1 and like the blue route. I don't know if that's like a thing you can do, but people have been doing it.
Oh yeah, no, that's if it's one way, you can do it. Yeah.
Okay. It turned green now anyway, but I was like, I don't know. Like, is this safe?
I do what I want. It's like Cartman.
I don't think even fucking turn signal.
Dude, Eddie and I we drove, like I said, we drove down to Maryland, picked up some bikes today, came back, and not everyone was driving crazy, but half of them were. And I'm wondering if it's because everyone's been stuck inside, not driving anywhere for the past 3-something months, that they've all just, now that they're out, and I mean, maybe half of them were using turn signals. I mean, I'm not going to scream about everyone, because once in a while I'll do it too, but it didn't seem good.
Yeah, I've been trying to drive as little as possible. That's all.
Oh yeah, I think I've only filled my gas tank like 3 times, and I don't. Hopefully the news is wrong, but I've been watching all the stuff. I don't think we're done with this. But like I said, my lady Jill works at the Broomall rehab place, and it's still a real thing, at least for us. So I mean, just everybody stay safe. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah, be safe. Practice everything.
What are you listening to in there, Mike? What's on the radio? I can hear something back there.
I was with you guys on. I didn't want to interfere with anything by having the radio on.
Oh, that's just us bouncing back.
Yeah.
Ah.
If I were to have the radio on, it would be XPN for sure.
88.5. I think the only 2 stations I really listen to are 88.5 or 90.9, which is NPR. I think those are the 1 2. Now, if this were like 20 years ago, I'd be listening to WDRE. Oh, I love WDRE. I miss the hell out of that station.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like most of the rock stations are just awful anymore, I feel like.
Well, is it 104.5 or 101 or something like that? That's just basically they'll throw in you're listening to such and such, blah blah blah, the place where something, and it's just basically a Pandora thing. I mean, that just plays.
It's the same songs every day. Like
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the 2 songs I heard over and over. I don't listen to that channel I listen to 94.1. I'm listening to normally sports radio if I'm listening to the radio. But
So wait, so Frankie, so you can be our sports ball guy. So
yeah, I like feeling. Look, I got like my here. I got my Wentz Ertz Cup.
Oh, okay. So give us some sports, buddy. What do you got? What's the neatest
I'm just
sports
happy for
thing?
baseball to be back. Baseball. I saw some of the stuff on Instagram. Phillies coming back. Bryce Harper was in batting practice today. That's always a good thing to see. And just seeing Phillies coming back late July. That should be, no audience, but I just want to see something on television. I'm tired of not seeing live sports. All my baseball friends that are hardcore will try to catch the early, Korean and Japanese leagues, like 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. or whatnot. But I just want to see my Philly sports teams. I'm excited for the Eagles. Seeing Deshaun Jackson coming back faster and briskier than ever, man. So I got my Deshaun Jackson jersey in the closet over there. I'm just really thinking about those 2 sports in general. We could talk about basketball and hockey later, but
did basketball ever even end its season or anything, or did it just stopped?
Basketball, yeah, I don't know what's going on there. I can't really report accurately on that, but what more to come on that on the next report. How about that?
Oh, all right.
Oh my God, he on X Games mode.
Well, and someone was telling me, one of my poor friends, I just read it here too. One of my poor friends who's a hockey fan, apparently the Flyers were doing pretty decent this year.
Yeah, I didn't want to say anything because I'm very upset about that still. So,
was that like poking like with a stick?
I mean, if it would have gone on, the odds were very good. The Flyers were early in the season they were shit, man. They were terrible. But they switched coaches and they got their shit together, man. They were running like a Swiss Swiss watch,
like a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, man. They were the best I've seen them since maybe the Legion of Doom days. That was my favorite heyday of Flyers hockey. Shout out to Eric Lindros and LeClaire and Remberg and all those guys. Michael Remberg.
Pardon me. So is there any, are they going to get back to that, or is it just the season's done?
For hockey, no, hockey's done.
So just on the big list on the Stanley Cup, there's a big open space for 2020.
Nothing. You got nothing.
That kind of sucks.
I used to have a Wayne Gretzky game back in the day.
I saw hockey once. I went to a game that was hockey once.
Now for SNES, that's a good game, the Wayne Gretzky game. I recommend it.
I think I might have played it for Super NES. All my sports games I remember being on Sega Genesis.
Super Nintendo, Madden. I played Madden on Super Nintendo before there were numbers behind it. It was just Madden. And then the first year with numbers behind it was Madden 93. And I'm like, oh, well, this is kind of cool. And then 94 and then 95. And I'm like, this is kind of a scam. They could just do updates, I thought. But, whatever. Whatever.
Hey, Jim Cunningham says the Flyers, highest team in hockey when it stopped. Yeah, they were they were so good. And the tickets were getting really expensive. And people were still going. It was that beginning of the mask thing, and there were people that still wanted to go because the Flyers they were like, I don't care, the Flyers are good. It was like an Always Sunny episode. The gang gets quarantined. Which I did watch that season 9 episode 2 the other day. Oh my goodness, Frank's all lathered up in Purell.
Yeah, you're working your way through through all the Sunnies. Have they done the Dayman yet? Have they done the play?
Yeah, the Dayman cometh.
Dude, that thing is awesome. I love that. Dude.
Charlie Day is and he's a musician too. Charlie Day is not only a comedian and a actor, he's a musician. And he's a very good, there's songs that he plays on some of those episodes, man. He's killing it. I actually want to try to learn those, or maybe have Steven Singer play Charlie Day. Some of the songs that he plays, not the Dayman Cometh, but in the Patty's Pub.
Yeah, there's a spider deep in my soul. I love that shit.
Yeah, I just cracked season 10, so I'll probably watch a couple more tonight. Yeah.
God damn. Maybe I'll start from the beginning.
So good. Yeah. You could almost skip 1 and 2. 3 is good.
But season
5 is good.
Start with season
7
3.
is really good. Yeah, all the odd ones. 3, 5, 7. I feel like they're the hot ones.
It's kind of like Star Trek. Star Trek movies are that way.
9 and 10's been pretty good. I mean, I don't know.
They're all
3, 5, and 7.
I like anything with Jiminy Cricket. I love that guy.
And how he progresses through time, and his face melts off by season 10. It's he's like a normal guy. He's like a pastor.
D is so fucking terrible to him. She's like,
then he smoked crack.
You've been driving this whole time, Mike. Where are you? How far away is home? Are you in Claymont? Are you the mayor of Claymont? Where are you going?
I'm in Brookhaven. I'm almost home now. I'm on Brookhaven Road.
Oh, I didn't know you were in Brookhaven or Wallingford.
Yeah, I was about a 20-minute drive because I was coming from, like I said, Drexel Brook Apartments.
So right by me.
Yeah. I took the Route 1 State Road, and then I took the highway.
Nice.
And got off in Media.
Nice.
Jim Cunningham is saying that hockey is not done. They have a playoff.
Nope.
And Flyers get a bye the first round. So.
Oh my.
Who?
Jim is definitely. I know he's on the Flyers. That's his thing.
I would have never guessed that by hanging out with him.
I'm just thinking about baseball right now. But baseball's my big. I played baseball growing up as a kid, so. I wasn't very good at it, but it's just the American in the America baseball.
We don't play baseball.
You gotta
play
baseball.
My folk guitar,
hot dog and apple pie and baseball.
Frankie Biscuits, everybody's favorite American Delco dude.
Salute.
Well, I think we're getting ready to wrap up. We hung out for an extra 20 or so. That was fun,
Yeah.
Something to do. Give you a little extra.
Can I play us out? We didn't do the movie review. We'll save that for maybe the Friday show.
Friday. Stay tuned for Friday. We're going to do a movie review, and I'm going to scam a couple people in to do some specials and stuff. And Mike, you got some stuff happening too. You've got some some cooking stuff maybe, or there's an album review or something you got going on.
I did the music review last week.
Okay.
I went up with the Facebook. It was too big. I did a new songs review. Maybe I'll do another cooking one soon, maybe tonight or tomorrow night. I'm definitely doing a set tonight, most likely, either on Delco or one of the other streaming sites. But I'm home now, so I'm ready to embark on some musical goodness.
Nice. So what do you figure? About I don't know, at around the the 1:15 hour, you might play some tunes. You think?
Yeah, maybe 1:30. I might make some food first, but
All right, you hear that?
Maybe I'll make the food while I stream, like another
Ooh.
cooking live.
Like a cooking live? That'd be
But
great.
not cooking anything that was alive because I'm vegetarian.
I was gonna say you don't need anything that casts a shadow.
Nope, I'm level 5 vegetarian. Level 5. Get all my bullshit off the ground. Or going to my house.
All right. Well,
Oof, I am struggling so hard here, guys. I got to get that tripod. Let's do a little send out.
I wish Eddie were here.
Little Jim. Well, I know it's kind of late.
It's 12:55.
About 1 o'clock. I hope I didn't wake you. What I gotta say can't wait. I know you'd understand. Every time the time was right, all the words came out wrong. So I have to say I love you in a song. So I have to say I love you in a thong.
That's spicy.
That's a spicy meatball.
That was beautiful.
And my phone didn't die. Congrats. It'll probably die in a minute. So
Well, it lasted long enough for us. So, well, I guess we're off, and we'll and tune in on Friday. We're gonna do our big 4th of July show. It's gonna be very patriotic.
special guests, hot dogs, vegan ones for scandal.
Yeah, we should have you know what? We should have a cookout. Let's do a cookout on Friday. It'll be a little late, but like hamburgers and like beers and stuff like that, and maybe sparklers. Ooh, it'd be so much fun. I don't know.
Sounds awesome. We'll blow up our own little piece of America. America.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because I know we were talking about this on the break. I know I've got at least 2 or 3 really horrible 4th of July stories. So if you guys can come up with some too, that'd be
Friday.
great. Yeah,
Nice.
Friday, and you guys online too. If you've got a particularly horrible or awesome 4th of July story, send it to us and we'll read it or we'll bring you on. Because let's face it, there's things blow up. Sometimes they're not always what you want to blow up. So goodbye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Remember to wash your hands, everybody.
Yeah, that's true. And remember,
Be kind.
and remember that wearing a mask in Pennsylvania is now the law. If you set foot outside your house, put on a mask. That's the rule. Wasn't me, but I want to follow it. We want you to stay safe.
Somebody kill me!
You don't want that to happen.
Don't sneeze on someone and kill their grandma. It's not nice.
No. See you later.